Hi, I'm Ron Daniels, and I run the Science Maker Lab at Wilfrid Laurier University. I'm here today to talk to the makers out there about what we can do to best help with the COVID crisis. There's an old cliche that says that when you're a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. We all have 3D printers and we all love our 3D printers. 3D printers are a super cool technology that can make some very interesting complex shapes. But if we're using a 3D printer to make something that could be made on a laser cutter or a vacuum former or a stamping die, then that's probably the better way to make those parts. Don't worry, all is not lost. Because a 3D printer can make things that can't be made any other way, if we keep our 3D printers working on parts that can only be made by 3D printers, we can maximize the total number of parts that can be made to help out with this crisis before this crisis hits its peak. We also need to understand that there are limits to what a 3D printer can do. To prove this to myself, I designed and 3D printed a check valve. Sure enough, a desktop 3D printer wasn't capable of producing a fine enough finish for the check valve to work properly. So as much as we love our 3D printers, there are applications where it simply can't do a good enough job. And there are applications where older, less glamorous technology is much better when a large number of parts are needed. To create new things, you have to be a person who says, yes, I can, when other people say, no, you can't. That's just part of who we are as makers. But at times like this, as much as we love to make new things, and as much as we love to impress each other, it's not about us. This is no time to be competitive. This is no time to hoard resources, and this is especially not a time to squabble over who's going to get credit or whose design is better than whose. Contrary to what I ask of the students in the lab, when it comes to actual production, most of us can contribute more by producing copies of someone else's proven design than we can by pretending that we're James Dyson. We could waste a lot of time and precious materials by making a mistake as simple as specifying a 7mm bolt. As makers, we do love to get a pat on the back, but we need to remember that this crisis is not an opportunity for us to show how smart we are. It's an opportunity for us to show how much we can contribute. Don't get too caught up on making one particular item or another particular item. Be willing to make whatever has the greatest impact. The reality is that unless it's needed in your local area, it can be transported easily, and any other parts that are needed for that assembly are also available in your area, there are probably better and more helpful things to be making. If you want to make personal protective equipment to help deal with the coming shortage, by all means do so. But make sure that you're coordinating with either Health Canada or somebody who knows what Health Canada wants. We want to be sure that we're making things that can be safely distributed and used. We also need to be flexible and understanding. We're dealing with a moving target. What's needed today may not be what's needed tomorrow. To be sure that we are making what needs to be made, stay in contact at least daily with whoever is guiding you. If you're working off a website, make sure that you check it every morning. Things are changing very quickly right now. Finally, I want to say that as makers, we're quite individuals. We often work alone for extended periods, and we love to bury our head in a project and just take it from start to finish. To be really effective during this crisis, we're going to need to set aside our own nature a little bit and be a cog in a much bigger machine. Now is the time to collaborate, cooperate, and communicate so that we can make the parts that are needed and make sure that they work for manufacture, for distribution, and especially for function. Now let's get out there and make some parts. Thank you.